Hello, welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at foster care and adoption needs in Connecticut. My name is Jacqueline Ford. I am humbled and honored to have worked for the Department of Children and Families for over 25 years. And although I may be familiar with the topics I bring to you, I am inviting experts in those fields to share their knowledge. It is my hope that each week I can help to dispel those myths and misconceptions that often act as barriers to finding homes for Connecticut children. Together with my colleagues, we work tirelessly to create a statewide level of awareness of our need to find more foster and adoptive families. Joining me in the studio is Joshua Fisher, a DCF social worker and Youth Advisory Board coordinator. Josh is dedicated to helping our youth find a platform and their voices, impacting the minds and the hearts of our community. Josh is joined by Vince Espino, one exceptional young man whose experience as a youth in foster care has led him to become a social worker for the Department of Children and Families. Thank you, Josh and Vince, for being here in the studio to talk about our youth. I don't think that the community understands all of the work that our department does with our young people, our youth. So we're going to talk about that today. Josh, can you tell us, what is the Youth Advisory Board?
Sure, thanks, Jackie. So the Youth Advisory Board really is our agency's platform to listen to the experts in the foster care system, which is the youth that we serve. Ages 14 and up, kids in foster care can really speak truth back to power and say what's not working for them. I feel like over the course of the years and doing the YAB work, it's really become a much bigger thing. It's hard to talk about it just in plain facts. I have a poet I really enjoy named Micah Borns, and he says that sound only takes shape against silence. So we learn to be quiet, listening to the cries of others, that we might tune our bells to their rings, that we might sing their song in time. And I feel like at the beginning of this outset, what we were trying to do was make sure that our youth had a voice through the Youth Advisory Board. And as this journey has progressed, I feel like it really has become a megaphone for what they are trying to say. And it used to be DCF staff leading and bringing the youth along, and gradually we're moving towards these youth advocates, these young leaders leading the work itself. So it's really exciting.
Wow, and what is your role with the Youth Advisory Board?
So I am the DCF Youth Advisory Board coordinator on the statewide level. We have youth advisory boards in each of our 6 DCF regions, and then we have statewide work that touches on work that's important to all of those youth boards that have been mentioned as places of need across the state. So,
how often do they meet?
Yeah, each of the local boards meets about once a month, and then on the statewide level, we end up working together about once a quarter. We have Commissioner Katz invites us to central office, and we have dinner with her, which has been a really wonderful experience and opportunity. And then in the interim, also about on a quarterly basis, we get together for subcommittee meetings to work on whatever statewide project we are working on at the time.
I see. I've been a part of Commissioner Katz's involvement with the Youth Advisory Board, and it's really wonderful to see how she interacts with the youth and how excited they are to have her there. How are teens selected to be a part of the Youth Advisory Board? Yeah,
so I was the New Haven Youth Advisory Board coordinator for quite some time. The way I always approached it was anybody who's looking to move in the right direction. You didn't have to have any special qualifications. Again, we usually set the age around 14 and up, but each board does it a little bit differently. Sometimes there's an application process. It's really meant for anybody in the foster care system under those minimal criteria to have an opportunity and a platform to speak back about their experiences and what could be improved.
So any teen in our system can be a part of it?
As long as they're in out-of-home care, yes.
Yeah, oh, that's wonderful. So Vince, you've been recognized for your leadership in a youth-driven foster care reform, and your voice has helped to advance the work that the Youth Advisory Board has done. Can you tell us about your DCF story?
So I couch surfed for 3 years before entering care. So I guess my DCF story began at 16 years old. And for a short period of time, I was in a short-term group home. I had the privilege of actually identifying a foster home myself before entering one. So that means I only had one placement, luckily. It doesn't happen that way all the time.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, so I took full advantage of it. I made sure I learned what I needed to do to learn, to make sure I succeed in that home. It wasn't that hard. You just play your part, be a member of a family.
How did you choose that family, if I can ask?
Yeah, absolutely. So I used to live next door to them when I was a kid. Yeah, so I was couch surfing. I ended up bumping into my old childhood friend at high school. Yep, and so went over for lunch, had dinner with them, and they kind of realized the situation I was in wasn't the best. So they took it upon themselves to be a helping hand. Before I entered care, I identified them as a potential home that I would love to be in. And they took me in with open arms.
Oh, wow. And how long were you placed with them?
For about 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 great years.
Yeah.
Amazing home.
And I understand that you had an exceptional relationship with your DCF social worker.
Oh man, hit the lottery.
Yeah.
He's amazing. If I'm half the social worker he is, I'll be a great one.
Oh, yeah. I know Dave personally, and I echo that sentiment. So along your journey through DCF and being in care and being in a home where you were able to choose that family, how did you become involved with the Youth Advisory Board?
So the Youth Advisory Board, Dave had came to me during a visit, and he stated, "Hey, I see you're really resilient. I want other youth to be like that." So of course, resilient, I'm like, I'm not quite sure I know what that means, but I'm hearing you out. He stated, "Do you think DCF is perfect?" And I said, I don't think anything's perfect. He's like, "So why don't you go and speak to the commissioner with other youth like you?" And I was like, wow, speak to the commissioner of DCF. Is that really a thing? And I tried it out. And I went to a meeting, and there was youth just like me. And she actually listened. She gave us an opportunity to express some of our concerns. And she jotted down notes and made it a point to try to tackle some of our concerns. So I felt like my voice mattered. And I was hooked ever since.
So how long did you participate in the Youth Advisory Board?
7.5 strong years.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Went from the city to the region to statewide, and then across New England region.
So tell me, as a teen in care, how the Youth Advisory Board helped you personally.
It actually gave me the ability to voice some of my opinions, to know that what I say actually matters. People are listening. It's nerve-wracking when you enter foster care and you don't know what to expect. And when you speak, you're not quite sure if people are hearing you. That gave me an opportunity to know that those around me were listening. They took down notes. They started tackling some of the concerns we had. And, from there, it was just a collaborative partnership between DCF staff and youth, and I got to see it in its work.
Do you have a most memorable moment in your role with the Youth Advisory Board or with Commissioner Katz that you can share with us?
Absolutely. I got a lot, but I think my favorite one has to be, foster youth don't get to experience extraordinary things all the time. And I remember I was in my foster home talking to my foster brother, and he says, dude, do you think kids like us will ever be able to go and visit the White House? And I stated, oh, no way. That doesn't happen to kids like us. And Commissioner Katz sent out an email and asked a couple youth to attend a White House trip with her. Wow. Yeah, and that was just the most amazing thing. It was the most amazing thing. It really was. And I think it changed the outlook I had on the foster care system. Like, they do care about us. We're not just kids. We're their kids.
So what was that? What was the goal of visiting the White House? Was it an opportunity for youth across the country to talk about foster care?
Yeah. Actually, we actually got the opportunity to watch the showing of Annie, the movie, inside the White House Theater.
Wow.
Yeah, listen to Vice President Biden speak. All the important things that's going on within every state. What are we doing with foster care and how we are hoping to improve it. So it gave me an opportunity to realize people are listening. People are listening.
Wow, they are. And have you seen any positive changes that are as a result of the work that you've done at the Youth Advisory Board?
So that's a very long list. Long list.
That's okay. We have time.
So for myself, I say sibling Bill of Rights. We hear that all the time. And when I entered care, I didn't get to see my brothers or sister. And that bothered me. We're separated. And other youth had the same issue. And Commissioner Katz listened to that, and she worked on it, and then the Sibling Bill of Rights became a thing. And we got to collaborate with her on what are some things we would like to see happen, visitations, how often, phone calls, just that connection. If we're gonna enter care, let's do it together. Let's not be alone through this process. And that happened. And then on top of normalcy, when we talk about normalcy, like, what is normal? What does that even mean to be normal? And she asked us, and we told her. And she listened, So what it means to be normal is so many things, and each youth has their own interpretation of what normal is. So she got everyone's insight and made normalcy Bill of Rights.
Wow. Boy, those are two huge ways that we've changed our system over the last 8 years since you've been a part of the youth. So, you know, in your heart and mind, you can often think of how can I give back, you know, because you're so appreciative of the system and all of the ways that you've been able to grow and develop and impact change. And I see that now you're a social worker for the Department of Children and Families, and I don't so much as see that as your giving back. It's us getting a treasure, because you are a youth that had been in care, and now you're going to be in a leadership role impacting youth's experience as they're in our system. Can you tell me, you know, what drove you to be a social worker? Because not all kids that have had positive experiences in the foster care program go on to be a social worker.
And that's the thing. I realized that there's negative experiences and positive experiences, and you have to take them both and learn from them both. And I don't just have a story. All youth in care have a story, and our stories matter. And what you do with your story matters. But I didn't have anyone telling me that. It was those select few people, and that made the difference, to know that just one or two people can impact a life. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, who will be better to do that than me? I think I can do it. I think I can. I want to. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to give it a shot. So far, so good. So far.
So when did you get hired by DCF?
July. Yep. July. Just recently, 5 months ago, and it's been got to see both sides. And usually, there's a line between the foster youth and the DCF staff, mm-hmm. right? We don't cross that. We try our best to bring youth to the other side, and you try to have staff listen as best they can to what their concerns are. And I feel like I have the ability to stand right on that line, mm-hmm. and hold out both hands. And that's exactly what I want to do.
And no better person than I can think of to do that. Are you working with teens in your role at DCF? Or?
I am, actually.
You are?
Yep, I'm working with a lot of youth.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to continue doing the Youth Advisory Board as well, mm-hmm. and encouraging the youth to succeed in and out of foster care, like myself. So
do you tell them your story when you get assigned to a case? Do you let them know that you've been exactly where they're at?
Yeah, you know what? The tougher cases, mm-hmm. I want it to be all about them. Mm-hmm. But the tougher cases that say, hey, you know what? You don't understand what I'm going through. And I don't, because every interpretation of foster care is different. So I won't pretend. However, I would tell them, but I remember having a caseworker. And I remember when the caseworker came in and gave me directives, how that felt. Mm-hmm. I think we can work together, and this could be a strong partnership, because I think I get it. But if I don't, then teach me. We'll do it together.
Because you can always learn something new.
Always can learn something new.
Josh, I'm excited about a lot of the recent projects that the Youth Advisory Board has been doing. Can you tell our viewers about the Meet Me Where I'm At project?
I would love to talk about that. But first I want to say Vince is amazing. So I know that our viewers will feel the same. But Vince has been there since the beginning. So this project and so many others have started as the brainchild of the youth who came around and advocated at that table with Commissioner Katz and in all the local meetings. So Meet Me Where I'm At really started the genesis of that with a seed planted in those very first meetings 7-8 years ago, where the youth around the table would speak back to the system and say, we need more high-quality foster parents, right? And how can we help recruit foster and adoptive parents? So we heard that, and like Vince mentioned, we would jot that note down, and sometimes it takes a while to figure out how to meet a need. There can be an issue, and how do you address it? Well, eventually we smarted up and just asked the kids themselves, what is it that you would like to do to kind of help advocate? And a lot of the youth said, could we speak directly on our own behalf, in our own words, to prospective foster and adoptive parents? We'd like to make a video. So that's wonderful. We don't know anything about making a video, right? But how about we try that? So actually the first phase of that happened a couple years ago, where we took ideas down of what it might look like to do a small public service address announcement. And then we weren't sure how to proceed from there, so we held on to that material. And then eventually an opportunity arose through Anne-Marie Stonohat and her shop to actually make the product. So we brought it right back to the youth and said, hey, look, here was the draft. Do you still want to use that? that? Do you want to go in a different direction? We had several meetings where the youth actually came up with the themes they wanted to talk about and how they wanted to talk about it. A key piece, we were working with Moving Pictures, the production company, who was instrumental in helping us. And we came up with this idea as a capstone to do basically a collaborative poem using the youth's words from the meetings that were planned and also sayings that had come our way in previous meetings, and really put together, I think, a powerful message from the youth in foster care in their own words. Vince is a star in the video. We also have another one of our young people who came up through the Youth Advisory Board, Ashley Foster, who now is also on staff. And we had also younger children who are still in foster care, teens who haven't exited out of the system yet, but have been helping us with our advocacy work. And they each were brave enough to step in front of the camera and read the poem, and it came out really great. We did an additional 12 other PSAs. So in all, we have 13 different videos. The campaign's called Meet Me Where I'm At, as you mentioned, Jackie. And what we're trying to do is make sure that that message gets far and wide to as many people, as many eyes, as many hearts as possible, so they can hear directly from the youth who are identifying a need in our system, so that we can improve it, improve the system, but certainly improve the quality of life for the young people who find themselves committed to the Department of Children and Families.
I've had the pleasure of watching the videos, and they're moving and impacting, and definitely sheds a different light on who a teenager is, for sure. What are some of the messages that the kids are relaying in the video? Yeah,
I think, Vince, feel free to chime in if you want, but I know that part of the messaging was really that every youth is unique. Just to Vince's point, there's no assumptions being made, or shouldn't be made, about how we should treat you. DCF prides itself on being a learning organization, and I think the beauty of that is, if you're going to learn anything, you first have to admit you don't know everything, right? So we have to walk into every one of those cases, every one of those families, every one of those youth's life, and really ask the question, what is it that you need? And they do a really great job highlighting that. Vince, is there any other messages from the campaign that you wanted to talk about?
You said it best, and I think one of the ones that really hit me was how we talked about patience. You know, it takes a lot of patience. Things won't happen overnight. Each case is different. Each case scenario is different. Youth are unique, and you have to trust in the process. If you stick with it, great things can blossom out of it. I wasn't the best foster youth in the world, you know, but I had an amazing family who were very patient, and it came a long way.
I think that's wonderful. So the purpose of the videos is not only to create a statewide level of awareness of these teens and their voices and vision, but also in hopes to find more families that will come forward and be willing to foster or adopt one of our teens.
I believe so. I think it really is also about addressing stigma. I think a lot of times people have an idea in their head of what a teenager in foster care may be like, or the things they may have been through, or what it might be like to invite someone in that situation into their home. And we wanted people to see, real young people and be able to speak for themselves. We also wanted to address a little bit some of the stigma that comes with who can be a foster parent. Right? Because I think that sometimes people think, it's not me. If only this, or when this, or maybe when I have a significant other, or maybe when I'm a little more settled. And what we're really trying to figure out is we're looking for people that have big hearts and are willing to share their lives. We're actually looking for anybody who's willing to meet our youth where they're at, right? And so I think the youth in the series of videos did a really wonderful job kind of outlining what that could look like. And it's really open. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. And for any of our viewers who are watching, the videos are at the movie theater around the movie Instant Family. We have some of our Youth Advisory Board videos, as well as some Heart Gallery videos. So I want to thank you both for being here today. I'd love to have you back again to talk about where the Youth Advisory Board is and how your role at DCF is going. But it's a pleasure to have you as now a colleague. So thank you both for being here.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
In our world, it is difficult enough to be a teen living with their biological family, let alone be a teen in a temporary foster home. As you heard today from our guests, the teens in our care are pretty exceptional, resilient, smart, resourceful, and deeply grateful. Before we end today, I'd like to share with you a message from our teens through their own words. Will you consider meeting them where they're at?
I have a story that needs to be told.
Before I was placed in foster care,
I learned through actions and inactions of others.
that I was not worthy of love,
That I was not worthy of love.
that I was not worthy of love or attention.
I learned that my needs
are not a priority.
As a result of that negativity,
I experienced insecurity.
I want to be accepted by society, but I'm unsure if I have that ability.
teach me through your actions.
Teach me through your actions.
Teach me through your actions that I deserve to be cared about.
and treated well.
Don't make me feel as if I'm a burden. Remind me that I am here for a reason.
I was brought into this life because I'm strong enough to live it.
I'm strong enough to live it.
I am strong enough to live it.
Show me that my presence is a gift.
Try
Try
to meet me where I am at.
Give to me without expecting anything in return.
Because I may be too hurt and angry to express appreciation when you're trying to help me.
But trust that one day,
One day,
One day,
I will remember that you gave to me.
That you gave to me in this way.
can you meet me where I'm at?
Let me be sad sometimes.
give me room to mess up and make mistakes.
because mistakes are opportunities.
To learn and grow.
By forgiving me, you teach me how to forgive.
Understand, there will be times I need space from all the voices.
They think that they know what's best for me.
What's best for me?
What's best for me?
Remember that I am not a paycheck. I'm a person. Will you meet me where I'm at?
Remind me that my past
My past,
My past
Does not define me.
does not define me.
help me learn to be helped.
Mentor my thoughts.
Encourage my ideas.
challenge my pushbacks. Laugh with me.
Cry with me.
Have fun with me.
Have trust in me.
Ask me these questions.
What are my dreams?
What is my purpose?
What are my talents?
How can I help others? Help others.
How can I help others?
Let me know that you're here to help me reach my goals.
And I will become empowered.
But first,
But first, you have to meet me where I'm at.
I long for community and to be connected.
Help me with my self-esteem.
and help with my other esteem.
Which is how I feel about and relate to others.
Show me how to see that I am needed in my community.
And the world. And see how I can make a difference.
See how I can make a difference.
See how I can make a difference.
You have this gift.
Share it with me.
Share it with me.
Share it with me.
Remember that I have lived a different life before I met you.
A life you may never understand.
I am not asking you to solve all of my problems.
Just help make sure
Just help make sure
I don't have to face my problems alone.
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 I am asking you.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
I am asking you to meet me where I'm at.
meet me where I'm at.
Meet me where I'm at.